A good boss knows all the dangers in their place of work. For instance, my chili that's been sat in the fridge for 3 years. I'm waiting to see when it becomes sentient. If only certain video game bosses had this same wisdom, instead of hanging out in places where they're surrounded by their greatest weakness. Then, when you show up, they choose to fight you right there, in a move so spectacularly stupid that I can't believe that there were enough examples to fill an entire video. Here are the bosses that would be unkillable if they only hung out somewhere safer. The fools. Enjoy and beware spoilers for the following games.
I have a phobia of spiders, so the worst place for me to have a big fight would be in a room where spiders are abundant and easily accessed by my opponent, who in this scenario is throwing spiders at me. Therefore, I can easily sympathise with the poor 11th Colossus from Shadow of the Colossus, who is found in an area lit with its greatest fear, fire. Like all of the Colossi in the game, this beast has a glowy weak spot that you have to stab with your Colossus-killing sword, but it's impossible to get to on account of it being covered in impenetrable stone. You can remove that obstacle, however, and render this invulnerable boss highly vulnerable by taking advantage of this Colossus's fear. Just light a torch from one of the many fire-topped plinths in the room and wave it in the poor thing's face. With the upper hand, you can herd your colossal opponent towards the end of the room and trick it into stepping backwards right off a cliff. A cliff? Who designed this room? Have they not heard of safety rails? With the Colossus's armour destroyed by the fall, you are free to jump on its back and jab at the now exposed weak spot, like the world's largest and meanest mosquito. As you hold on for dear life, whittling down this poor creature's health, all you can think is how this would have been impossible if this room had 4 solid walls and wasn't lined with fire pillars that are the perfect height for jumping onto this Colossus's back. If I were this Colossus, I'd be having words with my architect, is all I'm saying.
Lava is already 100% deadly on account of it being molten rock that is fatal to humans, so it seems unnecessary to also have Lovecraftian monstrosities burst out of it. Just seems like overkill to me. And yet in Quake, when you enter the House of Xthon, there's a big red dude who pops out of the lava. Guess what his name is? Yes, it's Xthon, a demon-looking jerk who has only a huge vertical mouth for a face. How droll. Xthon is also inconveniently invulnerable to your weapons, so you can do absolutely nothing to hurt him. If only the house, named after this very beast, contained the secret to his own demise.
Well, it is on this list.
Yeah, you're right. Sure enough, make it up to the mezzanine level of this large chamber and you'll find 3 buttons. 2 of them lower special pillars either side of Xthon, while the third and final one switches them on, revealing the pillars to be electrical and shocking the beast stuck between them. So save those rockets and nails, all you need is sufficient agility to run around pressing buttons, and Xthon will sink back into the lava from whence he came. Well, if you will hang out between 2 electrical pylons, I don't know what to tell you.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me?
Well then, how about these?
Everyone's a critic, especially on the internet, where just this morning I was informed that the latte art I posted was mid. But no matter what folks say online, the worst critics of all are internal, and a perfect example can be found in Psychonauts. Actress Gloria von Guten's internal critic Jasper Rolls, who is particularly mean.
I've seen some bad plays in my day, but this one's an actual menace.
Wow, harsh. Doubly harsh is that when you finally fight him, Jasper faces you in a critique-slinging theatre balcony hover mech, which has a shield impervious to your psychic attacks. But if you want to bring him crashing to the floor for an easy hit or 7, all you have to do is take advantage of his only weakness, the spotlight. And Jasper seems to forget that in this theatre, where he resides, there are 3 of them. There are candles for the lights just left on the floor for you to easily pick up, his own boss music can literally lift you up to the lighting rigging, and he regularly floats up after you to get you with his machine, again forgetting that up here, above the nosebleeds, is where all the bright lights live.
Ah, that light!
After falling to the floor and getting absolutely wailed on by you, he does take out the lights, but crucially, only one at a time.
You'll pay for that one, Spotlight! Take that, wretched regurgitator of the sun!
Okay, no one tell him that there are 2 more right there. Jasper makes the same mistake over and over, totally unaware of the dangers in this arena that he's been living in for years.
Ah, another Spotlight! I thought I got 'em all!
His lack of situational awareness helps you destroy him, an otherwise indestructible boss. Hey Jasper, we have some notes for how you build your next boss arena. Don't worry, it's constructive criticism. James got it.
I have faced test after test in search of the sisters. And now you have dashed it all away. You certainly do not live up to your reputation, ghost of Sparta.
To give Perseus from God of War 2 his due, he at least doesn't fight you in his own trap-filled abode. To immediately take away his due, what happens isn't any less embarrassing. This Greek demigod hero of myth and legend is hanging about in a rather grand Grecian bathhouse when Kratos, his half-brother, enters and the door locks behind him.
No! That door was my only escape.
Clearly not a fan of family reunions, which is entirely fair when Zeus is not only your dad, but also the dad of your great-grandson Hercules. Gross. Kratos seems entirely uninterested in Perseus' discomfort or even existence, looking on only in confused silence as Perseus delivers a speech/soliloquy so dramatic that even Shakespeare would describe it as verily a bit much.
Are you watching me now, sisters? Give me a sign!
But thinking this could be another test given to him by the Sisters of Fate, Perseus challenges Kratos to a fight, arming himself with his shield, sword and helm, powerful gifts from the gods, the last of which grants its wearer invisibility. Invisibility? That's going to make this boss fight impossible! I mean, unless he were to challenge Kratos in, say, a large pool of water inside a grand Grecian bathhouse. Perseus, mate. Rookie error. Perseus, who should have waited to challenge Kratos on solid ground, or, heck, even just legged it out the other end of this room through one of the many huge gaps in the stone pillars, decides to make a stand against the ghost of Sparta in a large pool of water, completely giving away his location with every single step.
I'm over here!
Instead of an impossible fight against an invisible enemy, you can easily find Perseus, beat him up, and break his special helmet from the gods, rendering him even easier to find. Well, at least that's the most embarrassing thing that will happen to Perseus today. I stand corrected.
We'll have to push him back, off the edge.
Want to shout that louder? I don't think he heard us.
It is not too late. Turn back. Flee.
The 2008 Prince of Persia has you playing as the Prince, an agile and athletic person who is mostly built for shimmying around parkour routes and not for fighting large corrupted collections of stones. So imagine your horror when you and your magically powered companion Elika have multiple altercations with the warrior, once a great king and now a large corrupted collection of stones. Luckily for you, the warrior is terrible at choosing where to take a stand. Everywhere he picks a fight with you in the City of Light is home to some environmental hazard that is perfect for smashing up big angry stone monsters like him.
Push him into the pillar!
You want to give him a back rub?
Just do it!
In one arena, there are a whole bunch of crumbly pillars that Elika and the prince can lure him towards and push him into.
I hope he keeps falling for this.
In another room, Elika and the prince can push him into a cage, like the warrior is an angry cat being tricked into going to the vet, rather than a huge terrifying stone golem trying to squish you. But most stupidly of all, any time he squares up against you on a nice big platform, there is always at least one edge where, you guessed it, Elika and the prince can push him right off. Okay, the health and safety inspector would have a field day with this place. After the final push in the final fight, the warrior falls into this liquid, which we can only assume is gasoline, seeing as he comes back totally on fire.
Good. Now he's on fire.
At this point, you just have to keep Elika and the prince out of his reach on this crumbling platform, as the warrior's health literally burns away, and you wonder why he ever agreed to live in a place clearly so hazardous to his health. Maybe the rent was cheap? Or it's near to a good school. Yeah, that'd do it.
What? My boys have been yapping about some big mysterious dude running around cracking skulls and this is it? You're the monkey wrench in my operation? Some scrawny rat with a stick.
Statement lighting is a wonderful thing to have in your home. I mean, it literally brightens the place up. One video game villain who seems to have taken this to heart is Mugshot, a huge brute in Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus who clearly likes to skip leg day.
I feel transgressed and violated. Let's rock!
When you face him in his fancy penthouse, Mugshot's unique crystal lighting system pops up literally through the once solid floor. This apartment has some glaring flaws. But they don't just destroy the carpeting when they appear. If you decide to turn on the lights by hitting all the mirrors surrounding them, the concentrated beams of light create so much heat that they destroy the guns that Mugshot is trying to shoot you with.
My beautiful gun is destroyed!
This is extremely helpful for you, seeing as Mugshot is impossible to damage in any other way, being totally impervious to attacks from your cane.
Mugshot's too strong for your cane. You're gonna have to find some other way to stop him.
So imagine your relief when, upon retrieving new weapons, Mugshot retreats to the mezzanine level, where there are, yep, you guessed it, even more crystals and mirrors for you to totally ruin his day with. All you need to do to beat this guy is flip all the mirrors on this level too, before flipping the ones surrounding the crystal chandelier he climbs up to next, with every mirror flip proving that maybe he should have just stuck to normal light bulbs rather than ones that get hot enough to melt metal.
This is impossible! A little pipsqueak like you, beating a big strong bruiser like me? It ain't right!
I think he needs to lose the shot at the end of his name, because after buying that lighting system, he's revealed himself to be an absolute mug.
While we've already spoken of warriors Kratos and Perseus, we must not forget the coolest of ancient Greek heroes, Xena warrior princess. Unlike Kratos, Xena is on a quest to redeem herself by using her warrior skills to help others, and appeared a whole generation earlier than him on the PS1, in a game called, you guessed it, Xena Warrior Princess. In this game, Xena is armed with her sword and chakram, but neither can help her when Master of Black Sorcery and, I think, affordable bookcase from IKEA, Calibrax, opens up the ground right underneath her feet. This drops her into Daizan's lair, a honking great dragon that will definitely shrug off any slice from a sword or chakram. Fortunately for you, Daizan lives in a death trap that he refuses to tidy up. No, not my bedroom. See, when you fall, you land next to 2 scrolls just laying there. One reads, "To defeat Daizan, look to the ceiling. Your weapons are there and ready to fall." And next to it is another hint of Daizan slows down to absorb the heat of the lava pools. He is vulnerable then. I have a lot of ideas for a dream home, and none of them is a how-to guide by the front door on how to easily murder me. But sure enough, on the ceiling of the cave is a collection of large pointy stalactites set directly above Daizan's much-loved lava pools. So all you have to do is guide Daizan over said pools and whack the stalactites above him with Zila's chakram while he's enjoying the heat. Repeat this a couple more times and Daizan, the terrifying, unbeatable dragon, ends up easily beaten up by his own home.
The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
This is why I removed the precarious chandelier that I had hanging over my hot tub. Just wasn't worth the risk. Classy though. So classy. Mike,
Yes?
the chili started moving on its own. I think it's
Yes.
breathing.
The next phase of my plan for world domination is complete. The only thing remaining is for you, the viewer, to click one of these 2 videos up here. One from here on Outside Xtra and one down here from Outside Xbox. Please do like and subscribe. That also helps the plan for world domination. And please do consider heading to patreon.com/oxclub if you'd like to support what we do. Yes.